and the Austintown Fitch Falcons, as Fitch won the opening tip but could not convert. Starters for the Falcons, you got Rachel Spaulding, Zeta Creaky, Destiny McCullough, Ayla Ray, and Jocelyn Jordan. Falcons in their all-red unis. On the other side, Marlington, Lexi Miller, Maria Warner, Chelsea Evanich, Ava Collins, and Elizabeth Mason. Of course, we saw in the opening contest, the Nordonia Knights falling to the Alliance Aviators in that one. Marlington trying to get the opening score with a distant shot. Couldn't convert. Ayla Ray with the rebound.
Whew, I'm here.
Anthony Hartwig joining us on color.
I was down there getting the interview with Jayla Kallick from the Player of the Game in Alliance. That one can be found on our YouTube page here pretty soon, as well as an interview with Coach Rod Smith from the Alliance Aviators, who got that first win, like you said earlier.
As Creaky steps in, mid-ranger, in and out, rebounded Evanich. And Chelsea Evanich, we hear that name all the time from the EBC.
Volleyball, basketball, softball, good in all three of them.
As shot after whistle was blown, and I think they're sending it back to Austintown.
But Evanich's best sport is basketball. That's where she shines the brightest.
Rachel Spaulding trying to avoid the turnover. Nice job by Jocelyn Jordan, but blocked by Evanich. One thing, I mean, and I've gotten a chance to see it all season, but I'm sure you've had a chance to see it as well. Jocelyn Jordan's progression as a basketball player took that junior season off, but from sophomore to her senior campaign, much more versatile and really establishes herself in that paint.
Well, I think that also comes from two different coaching staffs wanting to use her in two different ways. Coach Lynn, obviously, coming into this season, seeing opportunities to use her as a guard with her athleticism and her ability to make moves up at the perimeter, and that's what she's been doing. I had the chance to call their game at Poland, and the first possession of the game, she camped out in the corner and hit a three, and I said, that's not what I saw from Jocelyn Jordan 2 years ago as a basketball player, but they're definitely can post up like she is right now, but she's obviously able to come out in the perimeter as well and make some plays as a guard.
And really showing her scrappiness, too, as Jocelyn Jordan had to hit the floor. Another jump ball, second one of the opening quarter, as possession arrow does favor the Dukes. Marlington's only score of the game, coming with Lexi Miller on that layup attempt.
The thing I want to see as the season progresses with Jocelyn Jordan is how much she's able to go through a whole basketball season with all this, how well conditioned she is. Being in volleyball shape and being in basketball shape are two completely different things. And obviously she didn't play basketball last year, so how is she going to handle the grind of a long basketball season?
Great defense on Chelsea Evanich by Destiny McCullough, but that's what they say, just better offense, right?
Doesn't matter, right? I mean,
tried to get a second up on that score, rebounded by Evanich. She's able to kick it out to Miller, and the Dukes in the half-court offense yet again. 4-0. Trying to close out on that corner. Evanich had a seam. Ayla Ray closed it up. A couple softball stars going at it, and that pass off the mark. And the one thing, Fitch has had their struggles on offense this year, but the one thing that Coach Lynn and this staff and these girls have really worked on is defense. They've played a really good brand of defense against a lot of quality offensive teams and held them to a lot of teams' season lows on offense.
Well, they're hoping that their big brand of basketball will help them out here today against Marlington, who's obviously one division below them. Now, not saying Marlington doesn't play a really tough schedule full of big basketball teams. Just playing in the EBC is tough enough. But they've also squared off against Canfield and lost by 1 to the Cardinals. But Fitch is just hoping that their schedule will even the playing field a little bit against this Dukes team. Obviously, two programs at the opposite end of the spectrum. Marlington has been one of the premier basketball teams in our area the last several years, back-to-back EBC champions.
And
so
you talk about two really good teams that we always call in the YSN family, and Salem and West Branch. Those are two teams that have had so much trouble getting over the Dukes in the girls' side.
It's all about matchups, right? Because Marlington has actually lost to West Branch 2 out of the last 3 times. Haven't played them yet this year. But they couldn't get over Salem. They got past Salem, I should say. Salem can't get past Marlington. Salem beats West Branch last year. West Branch beats Marlington. Marlington beats Salem. So the ABC was weird to try to figure out last year.
And Maria Warner nails down a three-pointer, forcing Coach Lynn to take an early timeout for the Falcons. 7-0 Dukes favored here with 4:28 in the first. Ty Bartel, Anthony Hartwig will be right
back. At the Moore Agency, we work one-on-one with you to make sure your auto, home, business, or farm is protected by a quality insurance plan. That's why we work with Ohio Mutual Insurance. We know you can trust Ohio Mutual to protect what matters most to you and your family. Visit us at mooreagency.com. We can recommend the best coverage from the best companies like
They'll come out of that hallway next game.
Welcome back, everybody. Back out of the timeout. Fitch's possession, and the Falcons looking to break the press. They're able to get it out to Destiny McCullough. McCullough to Folkwine. Folkwine mid-ranger, left it a bit short.
Those are the shots that Fitch really needs to fall. They got an open look in transition, mid-range jumper. They want those to be able to go down if they're able to. It would be an upset today, I think, in many eyes, if Fitch is able to beat Marlington.
Falcons.
7-1 Dukes versus the 2-6 Fitch Falcons, so definitely a team looking to pull off an upset.
A little bit of late defense on Evanich there, and she's going to take advantage, getting to the line for a pair of free throw opportunities.
We talk about how dominant Marlington's been over the years, and they absolutely have been, but still looking for their program's first district championship. They're hoping they can do it this year with all the experience they have on their roster. Last year they fell to West Branch.
Evanich knocks down the first of two. Jocelyn Jordan in for McCullough. Fitch, I mean, one thing that they've been trying to get better at over the course of this season, too, and we started seeing it primarily in that game against the Poland Bulldogs. That's dealing with the press defensively. Poland started exploiting that a little bit with the younger portions of this team, and Fitch, they've gotten better in dealing with the press and passing through it, but still, it's given them their struggles, but it's a thing that this team's going to have to learn throughout the course of the season, especially with the quality of opponents that they have lined up on their schedule.
All that being said, Fitch actually played a really good basketball game against Poland, scored 52 points against that defense, which I'd have to double check, but I think that's the most Poland's given up all year in a 60-52 game. So that's a really good quality game for Fitch to look back on, but it's been a struggle point ever since that loss. They've lost, 5 of the last 6 since that Poland game after winning their opener.
Kara Perrone tried to bank it home. Nice rebound by Folkwine, and she's really established herself as a good rebounding presence as well for this Falcons team, despite only being a freshman. The mid-range look can't convert as Perrone tried to grab a hold of it, and a foul's going to be called on her, trying to get possession back.
Another big storyline about Fitch, a lot of people looking at Zeta Creaky, looking at her numbers and saying they're a little bit down this year, wondering why. But when you open the season the way that Zeta Creaky did,
40-plus point performance in that one, too. It was crazy, crazy performance by Creaky nonetheless. Under 3 minutes to play as the Falcons trying to get on the scoreboard. As we look at this Marlington team, they're certainly, without a doubt, really establishing presence and controlling the tempo out of the gate. And this is something that they just do. They're really good at creating the tempo of the game and forcing you to play their brand of basketball, and that's why they get as many victories as they do and why they're usually pretty successful inside that tough EBC. Nice passing results in a bucket for the Dukes. Lexi Miller gets a hold of it. .210 ticking, 13-point advantage. Fitch looking to get on the scoreboard late, coming in on that block, Lexi Miller. 2 minutes to go, first quarter of play. To that wing, three-pointer up, three-pointer is good, Ava Collins. All Dukes to start, Full timeout for Fitch. Minute 49 to go here in the first quarter of play. We're going to take a break. Be back after we thank our friends. Welcome back, everybody. 16-zip as the Marlington Dukes big lead over the Falcons to start the first quarter of play. As Fitch looks to get some offense rolling. Alareda Creaky tried to dish over to Rachel Spalding, and Spalding luckily able to get back up, ended up stepping on the basketball there, and that's always scary situations. 90 seconds and ticking. Dukes with the ball. What a pass. What a finish. You want to talk about on the money passing. Lexi Miller takes the feed, puts it up and in for a score.
Marlington's putting on a clinic in this first quarter of just how to dominate basketball.
Traveling violation sends it back the other way for the Dukes. Maria Warner feeds off to that wing. Miller inside to Evanich. Evanich tries to find a lane, tried to dribble through the pressure, lost the handle. Minute to go. Rachel Spalding all the way on the take. Can't finish, but a foul, I believe, in the act of shooting, and it'll allow the Falcons to get on the board. Address the foul to the Dukes, only their first here in the game.
Dukes have 3 players that are averaging double figures when you look at it. Their leading scorer is Elizabeth Mason, averaging 17 points per. But then Evanich and Warner both average 12 points per game as well. So obviously very tough to contend with when you have 3 players on the offensive side that are all averaging double figures.
Spalding's second attempt finds the net. But still a big lead for Marlington. And they're doing it with great passing like that. Creating open looks inside Evanich. Just tries to find a little opening with Jocelyn Jordan playing defense. Missing the shot. 40 seconds to go. Fitch with the basketball. As McCullough tried to kick out. It's a 5-on-4. All the way with the score. Elizabeth Mason getting involved now. Coast to coast on the take. Destiny McCullough trying to avoid the trap. Turnover back to the Dukes. And Marlington coming in laser focused after the Christmas break. You think they got a plan or a goal for the way they want this season to turn out?
They have a lot to play for. As I said, they're trying to get their first district championship as a program. Despite how dominant they've been over the last 4 years, they haven't been able to crack that Division II district.
Jocelyn Jordan. Again, we mentioned earlier in the game, and her overall play has improved over the last few years. Showcases it again with a nice closeout block.
Going to be going to Youngstown State to be a volleyball player next year.
Turnaround jumper, and a little too strong by Evanich, but it's all Dukes to start the first 8 minutes of play. A 20-1 Marlington lead to start off game number 2 here for the South Range Holiday Tournament. We'll take a real quick break, be back with the start of the second quarter. Ty Bartel, Anthony.
We are Kent State in the Valley. Start and finish one of more than 25 bachelor's or associate degree programs, or start one of Kent State's 280 majors. With low tuition, public, and plenty of scholarship opportunities, we will help you maximize your education and minimize student debt. Enjoy the benefits of a smaller campus with all the opportunities of a large university. Save money, stay close to home. Apply today by visiting kent.edu/Trumbull.
Coca's Pizza, your high school football headquarters. Come to pregame with half-off select appetizers in our dining room starting at 5 p.m. Also want to stay for the game? We'll be playing it live. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
Welcome back, everybody. Second quarter getting ready to get underway. And the Dukes already with a massive lead over Austintown Fitch here in the second quarter, 20-1. Marlington in front, and they've been doing it. Just beautiful passing, showing why they're towards the tops of that EBC the last few years. And like we talked about, them being laser focused, looking for a district championship, they're also looking for some revenge. You got to figure on the West Branch Warriors this season.
They beat them 47-41 in last year's district championship game, and they beat them 2 out of 3 times last season. They split in the regular season, which gave Marlington their EBC championship, being able to split with West Branch. But then West Branch got the best of it in the district.
Kylie Folkwine converts the first field goal for Fitch from the baseline. And I tell you what, Anthony, we saw her in volleyball season. Softball is actually one of her best sports. But
that's what's scary.
Yeah.
So good at volleyball. We've seen her have her moments in basketball, but everyone keeps telling us this freshman is the best at softball. So I'm excited to see it. I know you are, because you're going to be covering Fitch a lot.
Yeah, this is a really good, talented group of younger girls, especially coming up through the program. Kylie Folkwine's one of those highlight players, 3-sport athlete that we'll definitely be looking forward to. Fitch getting freshmen on both sides of the ball. I get to also see both the Hills, Allen and Alex Hill, for the Fitch boys basketball squad, and those two also tearing it up. But that's the biggest thing you got to remember with these freshmen. It gets easy when they're phenoms too, to forget that they are freshmen too, and sometimes it takes a little bit for them to progress. But just to see what Folkwine can become in the next 3 years, 4 years even, here in Austintown Fitch is really exciting times for the Falcon faithful.
Yeah, with freshmen you have to take all the positives, but then accept that there are going to be some freshman bumps here and there, no matter what sport you play.
That was really good defense by Folkwine too, with the 3-on-1. She switched off really quickly and was able to pressure without fouling, trying to get the shot. Folkwine gets the board out to Ayla Ray. Ayla's running it the other way. Now gives up to Sam Severn. Severn, another one of the younger players, softball athlete as well. Folkwine, 3-pointer. Kylie Folkwine again nails down a shot. 5 points for Folkwine, all of them coming here in the second quarter. Giving up to the corner, 3-pointer on the way, on the mark, and on the money, Elizabeth Mason.
Mason, like I said, leads them in scoring 17 per, and showing off her range there with that 3 that answers Folkwine's.
Ayla Ray calling the plays to the corner is Folkwine. Folkwine on the runner, gets fouled, and Kylie Folkwine entering a little bit of takeover mode on the offensive side for Fitch.
She's just like, hey guys, enough with this struggle stuff. Like, give me the rock, let me go.
Another player I compare her to, and I mean, it's just because of the coverage both ways, but kind of a similar build to Kara English over at Waterloo too, where she's got that wider shoulder frame too, where she's able to battle out rebounding wise, and she definitely packs a punch. She runs into you, you definitely feel it. And I mean, kind of a similar frame to what we saw Kara English when she was younger too. And if she continues to develop herself, strength and conditioning wise, the way Kara did, I mean, very scary to what Folkwine could be here in a few years. Already a dangerous athlete as it is now, as she converts that free throw and has 6 points on the day.
Very scary for people playing Fitch, very enlightening for the Fitch faithful.
Marlington still, though, big lead as the Dukes able to score on multiple fronts, but a traveling violation called on Marlington gives it back to Austintown.
Big 20-1 start. Fitch has calmed down a little bit. You can see the game start to slow down. Don't know if they'll be able to get back in this game per se, but just to see them kind of slow down the game a little bit and relax is nice from a coaching perspective.
Liz Spalding in as well. A lot of younger players getting some looks here. Sam Severn three-pointer, a little bit off for Severn, knocking it loose. Folkwine comes up with it, and a foul called. Folkwine had possession, got pulled down, and the fight of Folkwine is giving the Falcons a respectable offense here against Marlington, keeping possession with them. Ayla Ray, baseline to inbound. Goes over to Liz Spalding. Spalding gives up. Barnett back to Spalding. Spalding looks for the baseline, gets trapped there, goes out to Folkwine. Three-pointer on the mark, but no, off the mark, I should say, rather. A little bit short.
Looked like it was online.
It was online.
And it got nothing but net. Unfortunately, it's got to go through that little hole first.
As we saw the other way, too, Mason, another coast-to-coast take. Boy, she is so dangerous at that. And you got those players that can go the full distance of the hardwood. An unfortunate shot for Severn. Nice save by Liz Spalding, but Barnett couldn't keep the handles on it. Here comes Mason, turning on the afterburners and converting.
Pack your bags. That's a coast-to-coast trip.
Once she gets into the air, too, the body control that she has is impeccable.
I want her travel agent.
29-7, monstrous lead for the Dukes. Liz Spalding stops up at the elbow, kicks out, no fall.
Yeah, it's traveled.
Traveling violation called. Spalding getting some more minutes here in the last couple of games and trying to give her some more on-court experience. Like I said, a lot of young girls that have talent levels roughly the same. A lot of guards that are in this program.
That gives Coach Lynn the depth. I mean, obviously, she wasn't happy with the starters, and she sent the message saying, if these young players are going to come off the bench and give me a better effort, then I'm going to roll with them. And so far, that's been the case. You see a lot of bench players in right now for Fitch.
Ayla Ray, nice pass to Jocelyn Jordan. Single dribble on the take. Gets fouled by Mason on the late defense, and Jocelyn Jordan will go to the line for two.
Way to run the floor from Jocelyn Jordan. A body like, a tall girl that's able to run the floor is a coach's dream.
As Jordan, first of two, and she'll nail that one down. Creaky back in as well as Kara Perrone. Some quality minutes for Barnett and Spalding.
We talked about Zeta Creaky a little bit earlier in the broadcast and why maybe some reasons her numbers are down on her standards. Another reason is when you open the season breaking records, every team in the area sees that. Like every team that's on your schedule sees it. With social media today, everyone knows exactly what went down. And it's someone that you circle. You're like, they're not doing that against us. So she's been like triple circled on everyone's scouting report.
And you gotta look at it too. The schedule that Fitch has was a real deal schedule. Really good quality basketball teams in the non-conference that the Falcons had to square off with in these first few games. And
not to mention the conference they play in is brutal as well, with Howland, Boardman, and Canfield all in there as well as Harding.
As Poland basketball coach Nick Blanche, girls basketball coach Nick Blanche, that is, would always say, sometimes you just got to get them baptized by fire, right, to get them the experience that they need. And that's what the program looked to do with the tough competition. That's just a great take. And she seems to get faster once she enters inside the perimeter, talking about Elizabeth Mason.
What else can you say about her? I mean, just a really, really wonderful basketball player. You run out of words.
Creaky comes off the screen, dishes over to Ayla Ray. The fake, the back out, Rachel Spalding. Tries to feed into Jocelyn Jordan. Avoids the double, kick out to Creaky. Creaky to Rachel Spalding. Spalding waits for the screen, denies it, runs baseline, throws up a
that would have been impressive.
Reverse layup, and it was a nice take. Nice take, just a little short, but I mean the confidence of the sophomore Rachel Spalding to have that kind of take. And a traveling violation. No traveling violation. Timeout called. I thought I saw the twirl of the hands.
Absolutely a turnover. You're right the first time.
Traveling violation was called. I also saw the official, though, throw out the arms both ways. I thought a full timeout might have been called as well, as he was right next to the Dukes bench. So I wasn't sure if the Dukes wanted timeout here. Minute 45. Marlington still has the full 5 timeouts on the game. Big lead. Offense has been running really well. No need to really use them, as the take by Jocelyn Jordan from that.
I like that take too. You gave it to Jocelyn at the high post, and she's able to take it off the dribble right to the hoop. You just got to finish on those plays.
Destiny McCullough avoids the steal, gets into the lane through traffic, gets the shot up, can't finish. Cara Perrone off of the rebound, but can't finish that shot. Off of the Dukes last, and keep it with Fitch. As we talk about busy schedule all day today, next game on the docket is going to be Green versus Hathaway Brown at 1 p.m. And
Hathaway Brown is the only team out of the 14 here today that have won a state championship in their program's history. They have an illustrious program. Spent the last couple years trying to rebuild it, but this year they are very talented, kind of back to their winning ways. And back in this tournament for the first time in a couple years.
Nice three-pointer that time by Warner. And you want to talk about another team, too, their opponent in Green. I mean, they play in the Federal League. That's all you need
Green
to really
is
know.
Good. I had a chance to call their game against Louisville. They are. Wait till you see Mallory Otto play basketball.
It's going to be a great contest. That, of course, the 1 o'clock game here at South Range. Rebound again by the Dukes. It's all Marlington here in the first half. 35 seconds and ticking. Dukes can hold for the last shot of the first 16. Oh, an open lane off the glass. Couple bounces, and it falls.
Nah.
Lexi Miller.
Lexi Miller's like, hold. We don't do that here in Marlington. We're taking this shot. Hold
20 seconds. All that remains here in the half. Rachel Spalding look from distance. She can't convert. McCullough offensive board, tries to get the bump off of the pressure. Rachel Spalding in the lane, but she walks as she tried to cut through. Got kind of caught in indecisiveness trying to give it to Jocelyn Jordan or take it herself, and ends up traveling. 7.8. Duke's going to roll it to save as many precious seconds as they can. 5 seconds and ticking. The kick out, the three-pointer. It's up, and it is short for Marlington. But nonetheless, the Dukes have a 27-point advantage at halftime as the first 16 minutes are over. Next 16 minutes underway after a 10-minute halftime intermission. Ty Bartell, Anthony Hartwig, YSNLive.com. We'll be back with the call of the second half of action and more after this halftime intermission.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
How lucky are we to have not one, but two 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Reliability, innovation, scale. These three values are those we look forward to in our business and in our team. If you're ready for a reliable employer who looks constantly to think outside the box in big ways, we're ready for you. Apply now. Help us push the envelope and deliver success. Envelope 1. Take that one extra step.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
You're looking to your future, preparing for your goals, and they're closer than you think. Because here, success is part of the plan. It's a place where academic and social opportunities are meant to prepare you for life, not just the next 4 years. You'll be equipped to face new challenges and turn hard work into a career. You're ready for your success to take root. And here's where it starts. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
Hi, this is Zell Bush.
Hi, this is Tom Flynn. Hi, this is Steve Versetto.
Hi, this is Ryan Miller.
Hi, this is Rich Sakui from WRS Wealth Advisors.
With our combined 80 years of experience, WRS Wealth Advisors are the area's premier wealth and retirement specialists. Call 330-965-0370 to learn more about our individual and corporate financial planning services.
Or visit WRSwealth.com.
Go Raiders.
Go Dogs.
Go Cats.
Go Dogs.
Go Tigers.
Change. This one word can make you break out in a cold sweat. But with change comes wisdom, experience, and understanding. At Myers Family Insurance, we can help make changes in Medicare, insurance, and retirement a positive experience for you and your family. We've gone through changes, like our new office and new faces to help our family of clients too.
For all your Medicare needs, call Myers Family Insurance. Check us out online at MyersFamilyINS.com or find us on Facebook.
Winter, spring, summer, and fall. Mill Creek Metro Parks is your park for all seasons. Make a memory in the park. Plan your visit today at millcreekmetroparks.org.
Why choose local? Because you live here, work here, learn here, relax here, and celebrate here. 21 WFMJ is our Valley's only locally owned TV station, and our focus is local. Other TV stations don't have that same focus, as their owners are somewhere else. But 21 WFMJ is rooted in the Valley. Local people making decisions that affect your life, right here where you live.
Let's face it, buying a home is one of the toughest things you'll ever do. At Forever Homes, we are licensed realtors that specialize in representing our clients in the purchase and sale of single-family residences and income property in Columbiana County. We truly love this area. We were born in this area, and we pride ourselves on the knowledge of transactions, school districts, neighborhoods, and related services. So the next time you need to buy or sell your home, make it Forever. Forever Homes Realty.
We believe expectations are made to be exceeded. At the new Toyota of Warren, it's about more than just getting a great deal. It's about service you can count on and a friendship you can trust. Year after year, we've done what we do best. We've gone the extra mile so you could too. Because we know it's just not about buying a new car. It's the start of a new adventure. Toyota of Warren, driven by you.
Locally owned and operated, Sheely's relaxed shopping experience means browsing and lounging is always encouraged.
Find Flex Deal and more at Sheely's Furniture and Appliance, because the best things in life happen at home.
Every customer has a story, and at Greenwood Chevrolet, we are committed to making sure it ends with you in the right vehicle. I get to be part of somebody's adventure, whether it's buying a car for the first time, helping them get approved, or finding the perfect car for their budget. I'm proud that people trust me with their finances. They trust me to take care of them, and they trust me with their story. I'm Tracy, and I'm ready to go the extra mile for you, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Hi, this is Tommy Clem, owner of WRS Insurance Solutions.
WRS Insurance Solutions is a local independent agency that specializes in life, Medicare, long-term care, and disability products. Call us at 330-953-3722 or visit us at wrsinsuranceSolutions.com to learn more.
Good luck to all the student athletes in the Valley.
You're here to be part of something bigger, to make things happen. For you, college is about knowledge being shared, and learning experiences that aren't limited to the classroom. On campus, you want to matter. It's about engaging every day, building relationships with students, with mentors, with the community, in the heart of a reinvented city. We are that something bigger. We are Youngstown State University, and proud.
House troubles can attack anytime. When trouble strikes, call Mighty Mike. Your hometown hero is on his way. HVAC causing havoc? Has your furnace gone mad? Mighty Mike Heating and Cooling will save the day. Commercial or residential, 24/7. For quality service you can depend on, call your hometown hero. Call Mighty Mike.
Hi.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Ty Bartell and Anthony Hartwick from YSNLive.com. Get ready to get you situated here in the second half of play of the Marlington Dukes and the Austintown Fitch Falcons. And to say it was Marlington's first 16 minutes of the first half, it is an understatement, Anthony. 36-9, the Dukes lead it going into the second half of play. It's Chelsea Evanich with the ball. 3 Dukes scoring some major points, contributing-wise. We had 2 8-point scorers, an 11-point scorer in Mason, and then we have, Miller, who also scored.
Lexi Miller led, yeah.
Lexi Miller had points, as well as Maria Warner, 8 and 11, respectively. And that's what you see with this Dukes team, that they can move the ball around. They could score from multiple outlets, and that's what the best basketball teams are able to do, have multiple scorers that can beat you.
We said it earlier, 3 players coming in today that average double figures in the season.
Nice take by Jocelyn Jordan off that single dribble. She had the advantage with her shoulder in front of the defender Miller and just took it to the rack.
It was a nice seal to start off before she even got the ball, putting herself in a good position to make one move to the hoop.
Evanich into her dribble.
It's a high-level basketball seal, and I'm sure there's a lot of college coaches that watch her and think, man, if she would have just picked basketball instead of volleyball back when she started the high school career as a freshman, a lot of things that you see there that, oh, we could have developed that, and she probably could have been a Division I basketball player as well with her size, athleticism, and obviously the tools are there to become a high-level basketball player. They're not fine-tuned, but they're definitely there.
Kicked ball violation on Mason. Mason had a nice pass that last shot that Lexi Miller converted for the Dukes. Creaky Tried to dish to the center, and Rachel Spalding. Mason, an open lane to the bucket for the score. And a nice job by Elizabeth Mason.
While we have the time, let's congratulate 2,000-point scorers last night that both were featured on YSN Live. We had Kirkland Miller of Crestview get to his 1,000th career point, and then Thomas Cardero from Girard. Both of them eclipsed 1,000 last night. Congratulations to them both.
We, of course, always thank our friends, family, and supporters at both the Crestview and Girard programs and communities, and we thank both those programs for allowing us to be a part of their athletics for yet again another season on YSN.
I don't know if you've had a chance to see Girard boys yet, but Cardero and Gus Johnson, the tandem of those two, tough to stop.
Part of a really tough NE8 conference. That's always fun to watch in the wintertime. On both sides of the ball, both boys and girls, always competitive all the way around. Nice swing pass inside to Miller. Miller's guarded up by Jocelyn Jordan. Ayla Ray came in, swatted it out of bounds. They'll keep the possession with the Dukes.
The Dukes.
Dukes are going to look to try to get themselves into that 35-point threshold. That would get running clock and obviously help in trying to come away victorious in this ball game a lot quicker.
Schedulers here at South Range would love it too, because obviously it would get them a little back on track. That first game went a little bit long.
As Nordonia started closing things up a little bit in that fourth quarter, forced some timeouts on both sides.
The closer the game gets, the slower it goes, because obviously teams are going to start fouling, try to get back into it.
Making that shot, 30-point lead now for the Dukes off of the made free throw of Chelsea Evanich. As we also keep our thanks rolling along, we also want to thank South Range and allowing us to be here and be able to live stream these contests throughout the South Range Holiday Tournament. South Range Raiders, the home of the state football champions this year in Division 5.
Absolutely, and they're still celebrating that. Both these teams in action tomorrow as well, so you'll be able to get the chance to see both teams in action on both days.
Ayla Ray with the ball hawking ability, grabbed the pick and the turnover, but it gets knocked out of bounds, and a foul is called on the Dukes, and I believe it was on number 6, I think, for Marlington.
Let's see, they'll put it up on the scoreboard. 15.
15 was the one who drew it, and that 15 is Ava Collins.
It's her second.
One of the starters here. Lainey Henning checking in, and Lainey Henning, one of those spark plugs, physical nature basketball player that seems to lose all fear when she steps in between the lines.
And you watch Marlington's defense and you realize why they're such a tough matchup for Salem per se. They play that extended 2-3 zone. They like to trap the wings a little bit. And that could put a lot of pressure on a team that is really good at driving like Salem is. Forces you to take some jump shots in the perimeter. And Salem can definitely shoot. But, you know, we always talk about basketball being matchups, and I know a lot of people look at that and say, Salem's so good, why can't they get past the wall of Marlington? The defense matches up with what Salem's good at on the offensive side.
Not to mention, too, I feel like you got to give Marlington now. I mean, I can't say for sure, don't have the papers and the heights in front of me, but I feel like Marlington has a slight height advantage, too. And
well, yeah.
Every inch also matters, too. And also when you're talking about wingspans and stuff like that and defense, makes life a little bit harder for Salem. You got to be a step quicker on offense.
To be fair, as we take a time, I would have stayed here as we're having a discussion anyway. A lot of teams have a height advantage on Salem, and it doesn't matter for a lot of them. So.
It's oftentimes what I talk about. I mean, we talk about skill.
So we have a stoppage here because that was an assist from Maria Warner, and she just became Marlington's all-time assist leader as a program. Wonderful job by the crew here at South Range, and I give a little bit of a shout out to Paul Munson being able to announce that and let us know that was Maria Warner's assist that gave her the most in program history. At Marlington.
Congratulations to Maria Warner, and you can easily see why with her passing ability. But just going back to the Salem-Marlington debate there, and I feel like when you talk about it, we talk about skill level and we talk about effort level, and those are two very distinctively different things in the sport of basketball. And I think the one thing that Marlington has up on Salem. They play very similar type of basketball. They have a bit of the height advantage, but they match that effort that Salem puts out there. And I think that has consistently been why Marlington's been a tough matchup for Salem. It's just that effort matchup is always there between the Quakers and the Dukes.
And then you go in and you say, well, okay, last year, why did West Branch give Marlington so much trouble when West Branch couldn't beat Salem? And that's what really drives that point home, that it's all about matchups. You look at West Branch, especially last year's roster. Sophia Gregory could drive, but then they had players that were just physical inside. Not exactly the tallest players in the world, but they were really good at getting post position. Sydney Mercer, Olivia Showalter, and actually Showalter got the offensive rebound and put back at the buzzer that beat Marlington last year in the home matchup for West Branch. So the rebounding ability, the second chance selection there. And then Lippiett was just a matchup problem for Marlington. Anna Lippiett, who is not on the team anymore with the graduating.
Any given night, too. And we talk about that with this sport all the time, man. It really is that kind of mentality you need to have. And we see it in the area all the time. Records, you can kind of throw them out the window because matchups, it's all about matchups, but it's also the kind of night you're having. We've seen plenty of great teams have cold shooting nights. We've seen plenty of teams that are kind of, so-so, kind of building their way up, have the hottest shooting night you've ever seen.
You talk to Coach DeSiel's at West Branch about that. Last year, Salem had one of those days where they shot out of their scouting report. I mean, it was at Salem. I think they hit like 12 threes as a team. And West Branch played a perfect game plan against what Salem normally does. But it didn't matter because Salem hit about 12 threes to beat them.
As alternating turnovers, but a foul that time on the take. Ava Collins will go to the line for a pair.
I think Ava Collins is a player that gets overshadowed a little bit on this Marlington team with the success that Chelsea Evanich and Lexi Miller and definitely
Elizabeth Mason.
Both all have.
Warner, another great passer, just got the program record too.
But I think this player here at the line definitely really important to their success. You can't overlook her leadership.
We take a look at this Marlington team. We've mentioned it before, but they have a multitude of ways of beating you offensively. They play a really sound team defense that can do multiple things, whether that's playing zone, press, man. It doesn't matter. They're very versatile, and for a basketball team that puts in the kind of effort that the Dukes do, it's a tough matchup for any team that has to face them. When you got a team that can kind of do it all, can kind of play around with what they can do offensively, defensively, but then has effort 8, 9 players deep out of the bench, makes it a very tough matchup any given night. First free throw, a miss for the Falcons as the Dukes, monstrous lead.
I believe they were the 1 seed in Division II in the Super District. But
Super
like I said,
District
they got beat in the district championship in Uniontown Lake by West Branch.
Still a strong district, but I mean, we know some teams are moving around. I'm excited. Poland's a D3 team.
Down to Division III.
Waterloo's a D4 team. That's another one where moving down a division going to be interesting and create fresh new matchups for some of these teams. And a nice take. And that's with pressure, too. Elizabeth Mason has pressure on her. Doesn't matter in that exchange. She just finds a way.
One of the teams that I think is going to be, not emergent, they've always been like kind of a name to watch out for in the district, but I think is really good this year. That West Geauga team that Salem beat in the, I think, sectional final last year. There's someone to watch out for in this Division II Super District that's a non-YSN school. Obviously Marlington too. But I think everyone in the YSN family kind of understands what Marlington is because of how many YSN teams they play.
Trying to go with the take. McCullough has it knocked loose. And we'll see if they should start implementing a running clock now at the deficit being 35 points. As we know, OHSA rules state 35 points and over a running clock with timeouts and injuries being the only thing that can stop it. And, of course, getting it under that 35-point threshold.
Well, very good. The ball is stopped right now, and the clock's running. So you called it, and they heard you.
They implement that now, and for the Falcons, you want to try to get that clock to stop, but obviously,
the funny thing is, like, one free throw here will stop it.
It literally will. One made free throw stops the clock again, and that will slow it down, at least for
should.
the time being.
But, not everyone's really, okay, that should have stopped the clock, technically. It's not happening yet, but.
There's also the case, too, of you got multiple parents, different people going in and out of this, too, today that might not necessarily know the rule. It's a lot of things you got to keep up with, running the book, running the scoreboard, running the clock, too. Shot is up, and it converts back to 35 for the Dukes.
I think it all evened out.
On top of things, too, the Dukes getting that 20-1 lead to start, certainly helping them. And, I mean, Fitch has been able to score a little bit more, play a little bit more at their tempo, but this is a Dukes team where you give them that big of a lead to start, it's almost too late at that point because of the defense that they play, how good their offense is, how many options they have offensively. It's just tough going when you trail by almost 20 points to Marlington out of the gates.
Yeah, Marlington couldn't have started this game any better. It's impressive. It's still a morning game, which is hard for kids to do. They've never played a morning game before this season, so to come out and be ready to go, shoot around, probably starts in the elementary gym at like 10 a.m. when the first game's going on, and to just be ready to play at 11:30. Impressive to start the way they did.
And the Dukes prevent any turnover for the Falcons as they were able to knock it loose, but it's a 35-point lead with 8 minutes to go. All Marlington through the first 3 quarters of play. We'll be back with the fourth and final quarter. Ty Bartel, Anthony Artwig.
As Comco celebrated 70 years in 2022, we have much to be thankful for. We are proud of the Comco culture as we serve our customers with Comco Care with our premier customer service, quality parts, and on-time delivery. The partnerships we have with our customers and our community are second to none. We thank you for your continued support. We are proud to be part of this community and will continue to offer great jobs for great people.
Coca's Pizza, your high school football headquarters. Come to pregame with half-off select appetizers in our dining room starting at 5 p.m. Also want to stay for the game? We'll be playing it live. That's Coca's Pizza. We serve it hot.
Right back here in the fourth quarter of play between Marlington and Fitch. Game number 2 of 6 here in the South Range Holiday Tournament. And don't forget, great matchup next at 1 p.m. here between Green and Hathaway Brown.
That should be a really fun one. Between, obviously one of the most storied program that's here today, and Hathaway Brown that has won a state championship in their program's history, and then Green, just such a tough Federal League team with a lot of talent.
And like we say, anytime you play in that Federal League, you're pretty tough. One of the toughest conferences in this Northeast region, both sides of the ball, boys and girls.
Don't be confused. They're named Green, but they're not. Green is not in their
No.
color scheme.
Bulldogs.
They missed the mark on that one. They're red and black with the. They're going to look a lot like Georgia.
Good in multiple sports. Gave Fitch softball a run for their money, too, in the playoffs.
That was a game that looked like Fitch was going to run away with it. And then there's that one moment of spark. And Green came storming all the way back, and it made Fitch sweat.
A lot of good,
for sure.
lot of good programs in that Federal League, and I mean, not just talking in basketball, all sports. That Federal League has a bunch of top-tier programs, no doubt.
It's ridiculous.
But the EBC has some pretty good programs as well, especially on the hardwood.
Look
and
at
this
that.
Marlington team,
Coach Fitch in the building.
the legend himself.
Fish out of water.
And, of course, thanks go out to Coach Fish, like you said, too, organizing and allowing this to happen 4 consecutive years now in a row for this holiday tournament. And it's certainly a great time. We're having a blast and a lot of great matchups, and we're just getting started here, too, Ant.
A lot of work goes into this. The schedule is not the same as the one that they made back in the summer when teams committed. Things happen in the season. We're still seeing some programs deal with illnesses and injuries. People fall out. They have to change schedules at a moment's notice. And South Range has handled it really well. There's a big 3
Sam
from
Severn
the corner.
knocks it down. And Sammy Severn one of those girls that just defines effort plays. We see her on the softball field as well, and I mean, she's one of those ones that works every day at her craft, and you just can't help but get excited and cheer for her success when you see that hard work starting to pay off. Dukes at 5.5 with the lead in possession, but not to be as it got tipped into the hands of Kara Perrone. Perrone out to Liz Spalding. Spalding's three is a bit shy. That goes off the Dukes last. But you talk about Marlington too. Certainly that conference gonna be fun. That conference play nowhere near through. A lot of conference games in action still for the EBC. And you gotta figure, second time they match up with both West Branch and Salem, that's gonna be fun.
We still have another matchup with Salem and a couple with West Branch. Not to mention, Alliance might be a team that can throw a monkey wrench into that EBC as well. We just saw Alliance in the first game look pretty impressive.
Yeah, EBC looking to start off with 2 victories out of the gate here in South Range on the varsity side.
One of the things we didn't bring up is Coach Stadoulis, who is in his 7th season at the helm at Marlington. To have this much sustained success, obviously the talent helps, but a very well-coached team, disciplined team, doesn't make a lot of silly mistakes and take themselves out of games either.
Marlington is rapidly becoming a more prominent name in especially girls sports and
Yes.
a multitude of girls sports. And I mean, he's definitely one of the reasons they put a lot of good people in good places over there in Marlington, and it's really panned out in a successive multitude of sports.
When you look at it, the last 2 years they've won the EBC, and dating back to last year, volleyball, basketball, softball, volleyball this year. Looking to make it 5 straight EBC championships when you date back to seasons.
Some wins too over some other teams such as Boardman, beating Boardman 66-40 earlier in the season. Talking about Marlington, another YSN program that Marlington's had their way with.
Did lose to Canfield by 1.
Very
That's the
close.
only loss of the season.
Yeah.
49-48, I believe, was the final score there. And that was a part of the Canfield 7-game winning streak to open the year before losing their first game of the year to Salem. And that's another one where you go, Canfield beat Marlington, Marlington beat Salem, Salem beat Canfield. What are we doing?
Any given night,
And
man.
it's all about matchups, I'm telling you.
Because you talk about West Branch too, prior to them being able to come away victorious, Marlington had their way with West Branch that first matchup last year too, and West Branch was able to adjust and come away with 2 straight victories. And we talk about it, when you play a team one time, playing them a second time, we talk about it in football all the time, but in basketball, that's why those 2 matchups in the regular season are so fun in the conference game.
Yeah, last year, West Branch won that first meeting at home on a buzzer beater. And then, so the second meeting, Marlington kind of controlled it. So you went into that tournament game going, okay, West Branch won on a buzzer beater and then got beat up. Marlington was the favorite in that tournament game. And it was just one of those nights where West Branch was feeling it a little bit, hit a couple of big threes in the second half, and came away with a 6-point victory and won 2 out of 3 over Marlington last year. And that means Duke's still looking, like I said earlier, for their first district championship in program history.
Dukes were 1-1 against the All-American Conference, or the AAC, coming into today. And you talked about that loss to Canfield. They're looking to right the ship, and it looks like that is exactly what's going to happen. Final 2 minutes of the game, monstrous lead for Marlington.
Still a running clock. There's a 31-point lead, 145 and counting.
Foul number 7 has also put Marlington at the line, single bonus. And this is one of those cases you could take a couple extra seconds.
Yeah, take
to
your time blocking up, just,
on the free throw at times. A couple extra dribbles, maybe. Foot on the nail. Head focused in on the rim, and the shot falls through.
Everyone runs off, and then they have to get back on. You have to wait a couple of seconds to get everyone back in space. Take a few extra dribbles. Good.
And that one falls through as well. Marlington, 33-point advantage now.
Right back on schedule. I mean, this game's going to be over in time to leave the next one started by 1 o'clock. So, like I said, the schedulers at South Range are probably really happy that this game went the way it did. Fitch is not going to be too happy. But both these teams back in action, like I said, tomorrow. And they'll both have a chance to, well, Fitch will have a chance to rebound. Marlington will have a chance to go 2-0. Marlington's going to play Chardon. That's going to be a really good game tomorrow. Varsity game for that one's going to be at 3:30. Austintown Fitch will kick off the Holiday Hoops Classic with actually be the second game, against Hilliard Davidson, who we'll see a little bit later today as well.
25 seconds, all that remains, a 33-point Duke advantage. Pass to Barnett. Barnett near that elbow. Gonna kick out. McCullough takes it from distance, bit strong, and Marlington can dribble it out all the way to their 7th victory of the campaign. As you mentioned, the victory now for Marlington should send them to 7-1 on the season. Not a conference game, but they are 4-0 in the conference as well, as they'll look to turn their attention to tomorrow for another game in the Holiday Tournament before they set their sights on 2023 and the Eastern Buckeye Conference.
And we'll be right back, and we'll give out the player of the game for Marlington.
No doubt. We'll be right back as we thank one of our sponsors.
How lucky are we to have not one, but 2 18-hole Donald Ross Championship golf courses right here in our backyards. Mill Creek Golf Course was selected by Golf Week as one of America's 30 best municipal courses, continuing to challenge golfers of all levels and featuring golf instruction by PGA professionals, a state-of-the-art practice range, a PGA of America recognized pro shop, kids programs, and a relaxing grill room for a memorable golf experience. For more information or to schedule a tee time, visit millcreekmetroparks.org.
Before we leave you, we wanted to congratulate our player of the game. Anthony, why don't you give us the round of applause?
Well, you know, when you become a program all-time leader in a stat, you get the player of the game. That's one of the rules we have. Maria Warner gets it. She had 10 points tonight, but became, once again, the program's assist leader. So congratulations to her. You can see them taking the team picture there on the floor. Leading the Dukes tonight in scoring was Elizabeth Mason with 15, and then Lexi Miller had 13 for them as well. Chelsea Evanich held in check, which is surprising, but it didn't really matter because everyone else scored. Evanich had 6. For the Falcons, they were led, looks like Folkwine led them with 6. And then behind her was Severn with 5.
As the Falcons looking to get themselves experience against some of the area's top teams, Marlington continues to roll to their 7th victory.
Looks like they've set the clock to 25 minutes, so next game will start at 1 no matter what. So they're going to have a 25-minute break between the two games. We'll be back at 1 o'clock for Green and Hathaway Brown.
It should be a fun one. Ty Bartel, Anthony Hartwig will be back at 1 o'clock with the 3rd game of action here at South Range High School. Don't go anywhere, folks.
YSN thanks you for watching this presentation of Your Sports Network. For stories, stats, and more, go to ysnlive.com.